The exploding teeth syndrome. Imagine this. You're at a fancy dinner, enjoying your favorite dish, when suddenly your teeth start vibrating. Before you can even wonder if you're hallucinating, bam! One of your molars explodes, sending crumbs flying across the table like confetti at a surprise party. Sounds like a bad dream or a weird sci-fi plot, right? But this bizarre scenario was a real medical mystery in the 19th century, known as the exploding teeth syndrome. Now don't panic. Your teeth aren't about to turn into mini grenades. The exploding teeth syndrome, while terrifying, was an extremely rare phenomenon. Only a handful of cases were ever reported, but those who experienced it had their lives turned upside down, along with their dental work. Picture this. You're sitting in a quiet room, and suddenly your tooth bursts like it's auditioning for the lead role in a Michael Bay movie. The victims often described hearing a loud bang, followed by intense pain, and then the sudden realization that their tooth was now in pieces. So, what caused this dental disaster? Some experts suggest it might have been the result of early dental fillings. Back in the day, dentists used materials like metal and even lead, yes, lead, to fill cavities. Combine these with the acidic environment of your mouth, and you've got a recipe for a chemical reaction straight out of a science fair gone wrong. But honestly, trying to explain why teeth would suddenly explode is like trying to figure out why people in the Victorian era were obsessed with seances and mutton chops. It's just one of those weird quirks of history. The frogman mutation. Picture this. You're out for a morning jog, enjoying the fresh air, when you hear a splash nearby. You glance over, expecting to see a duck or maybe a playful dog, but no. It's a person, leaping gracefully from the water's edge with webbed feet and hands. Before you can process what you've seen, they're off, hopping away like something straight out of a sci-fi comic book. You've just encountered the frogman mutation, a condition that's been making waves, quite literally, in the world of genetics. But let's reel this in a bit. The frogman you just visualized isn't exactly a superhuman, but rather someone with a genetic condition called syndactyly, where fingers or toes are fused together, creating a webbed appearance. It's not as dramatic as having full-blown amphibian limbs, but it's definitely unique. Some people with this condition choose to have surgery to separate the digits for better functionality, while others embrace their natural webbing, which can actually give them a slight edge in the water. Talk about being born to swim. Now imagine the possibilities if this mutation were to proliferate. Forget the next Olympic Games. Imagine a world where everyone's an aquatic champion. The local pool would need to expand just to accommodate all the new record-breaking swimmers. And while we're at it, let's throw in synchronized swimming with a twist. Webbed hands and feet adding a whole new level of elegance to those underwater routines. You know the world has changed when Michael Phelps has to come out of retirement just to keep up with the frogman generation. And speaking of change, let's take a lighthearted dive into the daily life of our hypothetical frogman. Forget fancy shoes, just dip your toes in water whenever you want to feel at home. Need to escape a boring conversation? No problem. Just hop into the nearest pond and swim away like it's nobody's business. And let's not ignore the fashion industry, which would surely jump on the bandwagon, designing a new line of amphibian-inspired gear. Get your limited edition Frogman flippers, perfect for every season. The extra limb conundrum. Imagine this. You're in the kitchen, trying to juggle cooking dinner, answering texts, and keeping an eye on your pet, when suddenly, you find yourself wishing you had an extra hand. Now, what if I told you that for some people this isn't just a wish, it's reality? Welcome to the world of polymelia, where having a spare limb or two isn't just a fantasy, but a surprising genetic mutation. Polymelia is a rare condition where individuals are born with extra limbs. These additional arms or legs are often non-functional and can be attached to various parts of the body. It's like nature decided to play a little joke, throwing in an extra limb just to see how things might work out. While these limbs usually don't come with full mobility or strength, the mere idea of having an extra arm to lend a hand, literally, is enough to make anyone curious. Now let's imagine a world where this mutation starts to proliferate. Forget about being overwhelmed by multitasking. Picture yourself whipping up a gourmet meal with one set of hands while the other pair is typing out emails or scrolling through social media. Who needs to hire an assistant when you're your own best helper? And think about how this could revolutionize industries. Surgeons performing complex operations with double the precision, artists creating masterpieces with twice the speed, and even musicians playing duets by themselves. But of course, with great power comes great responsibility, or in this case, great potential for mishaps. Having extra limbs might sound like a dream come true, but coordinating them all could be a challenge. Imagine trying to squeeze into a crowded elevator or finding clothes that fit. Fashion designers would have a field day creating new trends, introducing the quad sleeve jacket, perfect for all your extra appendages. And forget about your standard handshake. We'd have to develop a whole new etiquette just to manage all the possible handshakes, fist bumps, and high fives. The hairy horror. Imagine waking up one morning, looking in the mirror, and realizing you've gone full-on werewolf overnight. No, it's not a full moon's curse. It's hypertrichosis, also known as werewolf syndrome, where excessive hair growth covers your entire body. Forget the hassle of shaving just your face. Now it's a daily full-body workout. Hypertrichosis is a rare genetic mutation that can turn even the smoothest skin into a fur coat. While some people spend fortunes on hair extensions, those with this condition don't need to. They've got a lifetime supply, naturally grown. The mutation has roots in ancient times, with recorded cases throughout history, often leading to individuals being mistaken for mythical creatures or becoming sideshow attractions. Now let's imagine if this mutation starts spreading. Suddenly, the beauty industry would shift dramatically. Laser hair removal clinics would become as common as coffee shops, and the hottest new trend would be grooming salons specializing in full-body haircuts. Forget the clean-shaven look. Werewolf chic would dominate fashion runways, with designers launching collections that cater to our newly hirsute society. Think cozy fur coats, no need to buy one when you're already wearing it. But let's add a humorous twist. Picture a world where we've all embraced our inner werewolf, with people proudly flaunting their thick, luscious locks. Bad hair days? A thing of the past. Now it's all about styling your mane for the occasion. Maybe you'd even start a new trend with a braid that wraps around your entire torso. And imagine the no-shave November craze, except it's every month, and everyone's competing to see who can grow the most impressive beard or body mane. The crystal skin phenomenon. Imagine catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and noticing your skin shimmering like a disco ball. No, you haven't been doused in glitter. This is ichthyosis, a condition that causes the skin to become thick, scaly, and sometimes eerily shiny. It's as if your body decided to add a touch of sparkle to your everyday look. Ichthyosis comes from the Greek word for fish, and it's easy to see why. Those with the condition often develop skin that resembles fish scales, creating a unique and sometimes uncomfortable appearance. This mutation isn't just skin deep. It can lead to dryness, tightness, and a constant need for specialized skincare routines to manage the symptoms. But let's be honest. In a world obsessed with smooth, flawless skin, having a built-in armor of scales is both fascinating and a bit intimidating. Now let's imagine this mutation becomes more common. Suddenly, the beauty industry would pivot, marketing products that enhance your natural crystal glow. Forget about matte finishes. The new trend would be all about embracing your inner sparkle. Moisturizers? They'd be replaced by oils designed to keep your scales shiny and smooth. And SPF? Well, your reflective skin might just bounce those harmful UV rays right back into the sun. Picture a world where having ichthyosis is as normal as having freckles. People would proudly flaunt their shimmering skin, and fashion would adapt to highlight your natural luster. Forget sequins! Your evening gown sparkles on its own! The phrase, shine bright like a diamond, would take on a whole new meaning as everyone competes to outglow each other at social events. The twisted spine syndrome. Imagine strolling through a park when you notice someone with a spine so twisted, it seems like they've mastered the art of human pretzel making. No, it's not a circus act. It's severe scoliosis, a condition where the spine curves in ways that would leave even the most flexible yoga instructors in awe. Scoliosis, in its milder forms, is quite common, often causing a slight curve in the spine that's barely noticeable. But in severe cases, the spine can twist and turn so dramatically that it alters a person's entire posture, making everyday movements a unique experience. It's as if the body decided to take the phrase, bend, don't break, to a whole new level, with some spines forming S-shaped curves that defy the rules of straightness. Now let's play with the idea that this mutation becomes widespread. Suddenly, our concept of straight would need a serious adjustment, pun intended. Architects might start designing buildings with curved walls and floors to accommodate the new human norm, while furniture designers create twisted chairs and beds that perfectly fit the contours of our spiraled spines. A straight-backed chair? How retro! But let's twist this story with a bit of humor. Imagine a world where scoliosis becomes the latest fashion statement. Runways would be filled with models showing off the latest in asymmetrical clothing, designed to highlight those elegant curves. Forget about trying to stand up straight. Slouching would be the height of sophistication. And in schools, the phrase sit up straight would be replaced with find your best curve. Imagine the sports world adapting to this change as well. Gymnasts with naturally twisted spines would dominate the balance beam, bending and twisting in ways that seem to defy gravity. Yoga classes would take on a whole new dimension, with poses designed specifically for those with an extra twist. While severe scoliosis is a serious condition that often requires medical attention, it's interesting to imagine a world where the curved spine becomes a celebrated feature rather than a medical anomaly. So the next time you catch yourself slouching, just remember, in an alternate universe, that perfect curve might just be the new standard of beauty. The Cyclops baby boom. Cyclopia occurs when the embryo doesn't divide the brain into two hemispheres properly, resulting in one central eye. It's an extremely rare condition, often leading to severe complications, and most cases are not viable. But the idea of a single-eyed human has fascinated people for centuries, fueling myths and legends of cyclopes, those giant, one-eyed creatures from ancient tales. Now let's imagine a world where cyclopia becomes more common, a Cyclops baby boom, if you will. The fashion industry would see an explosion of creative eyewear. Monocles would make a triumphant return, but this time with a high-tech twist. Imagine sleek, futuristic eyewear designed for that single eye, complete with built-in night vision and augmented reality features. Forget about contact lenses. You'd only need one, and it would probably be as big as a hockey puck. And let's not overlook the rise of a new beauty standard. Makeup tutorials would flood the internet, showing you how to perfectly line and highlight that single eye for maximum impact. Eyeshadow palettes would be reimagined, with colors designed to make your one eye pop like never before. The phrase, keeping an eye on things, would take on a whole new meaning, as one-eyed individuals become the ultimate in trend setting.